All right, everybody, welcome back. You know how much we love digging into tools and resources that can give us an edge online, and today we're diving headfirst into a fascinating one.
Definitely fascinating, and a bit of a mystery too, which is why we're calling this deep dive.
SiteBehaviour, your website's detective agency.
Like it, catchy.
Had to keep you on your toes, right? So listeners, you send in a ton of questions about SiteBehaviour. This platform claims it can be a serious contender to the Google Analytics throne, which, let's face it, can feel a bit overwhelming sometimes.
Overwhelming is putting it mildly. It's powerful, sure, but sometimes you just want those clear, actionable insights without needing a data science degree, right?
Right. And that's a big part of SiteBehaviour's claim. It promises to make website data less of a head-scratcher and more like, well, a clear roadmap to improvement. First off, this whole cookieless tracking thing that caught my eye.
Yeah, that's huge right now. Users are getting bombarded with those cookie consent pop-ups everywhere they go, and frankly, a lot of people are over it.
It's like that constant feeling of being watched online is finally getting acknowledged.
Exactly. So site behavior taps into that desire for privacy while still giving website owners the data they need.
Clever, if they can pull it off. But okay, let's talk practicality. One thing that grabbed my attention, and I know a lot of you listeners too, is the idea of these heat maps.
Oh yeah, heat maps are super cool. Imagine being able to see exactly where people are clicking, scrolling, even hesitating on your site, like having X-ray vision for user behavior.
So instead of just guessing what people are doing, you get a visual representation of their journey. That's got to be powerful.
It can be a game changer. Think about it. You could discover that a call to action button you thought was perfectly placed is totally being ignored. Or that people are drawn to a part of your site you didn't even think was that important.
Okay, now you're just messing with me. It can't be that easy, can it?
Well, nothing's ever that easy,
Yeah.
but site behavior tries to make it as intuitive as possible. They're all about delivering those aha moments without the data overload.
I like it.
Right.
So no more staring at spreadsheets for hours trying to decipher what it all means.
Hopefully not. And it gets even better. Remember we were talking about those aha moments? Well, hold on to your hats, because site behavior takes it up a notch with these things called session replays.
Session replays. Okay, now you have to explain because that sounds seriously next level.
Imagine this. You can actually replay a visitor's entire journey on your website. It's like you're watching a silent film of their experience. Mouse movements, scrolls, hesitations, everything. You can see exactly where they clicked, where they got stuck, even when they decided to leave.
Hold on, so instead of just seeing that someone abandoned their cart, I could actually watch them hesitate on the checkout page, maybe get distracted, and then poof, they're gone.
Exactly. It's like being a fly on the wall, except it's a digital wall, and you can rewind and replay those crucial moments to see exactly where things went wrong.
Talk about pinpointing those pain points.
Hmm.
That's incredible. So we've got the silent film of user behavior, but what about adding some sound? Can they actually tell us what they're thinking?
They can. And this is where site behavior gets even more interesting. We've talked about the watching aspect, but they also let your visitors speak through feedback widgets.
So not just observing what they do, but actually getting a glimpse into what they're thinking in real time.
Precisely. You're not just seeing that someone clicked away from a page. You might actually get a little pop-up comment saying, "This is way too confusing." It's like having a conversation with your website visitors as they browse.
Okay, you've definitely piqued my interest here. But let's talk about the elephant in the room, the cost. Is hiring this digital detective going to break the bank?
Well, just like any top-tier detective agency, site behavior has different rates depending on the complexity of the case.
Makes sense. We're talking different tiers of service, right?
Exactly. They have options for smaller websites all the way up to more robust plans for those dealing with massive traffic.
So it's like choosing the right magnifying glass for the job. A simple lens might be enough for some, while others need that super-powered zoom. We'll have to break down those tiers and see what fits different needs.
Absolutely. And that's what we'll delve into right after this quick message.
Okay, so we're back and ready to keep unraveling this site behavior puzzle. Before the break, we were talking about those feedback widgets, getting inside the minds of our visitors. But let's shift gears for a second. I'm curious about those aha moments.
You know, those unexpected insights.
Exactly. The stuff we might not even know to look for. What can site behavior reveal that could really surprise us?
Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you're looking at a heat map,
Okay, got it. Heat map.
and you notice all this activity around a product image
Okay.
buried on the page,
Yep.
something you barely even considered.
Interesting.
Site behavior is showing you people are captivated by it.
Like finding a hidden treasure.
Exactly. a clue at a crime scene. It's not just about finding problems.
More like uncovering hidden opportunities.
Right. And remember those session replays we talked about? Now those become even more valuable.
Okay, I'm following. Session replays.
Because you can actually see how people are interacting with that surprising element. What path did they take? Where did they go next? It's like piecing together a puzzle.
But instead of a static image,
You're watching a story unfold.
and sometimes it's those little details that reveal the most,
Absolutely. A simple design element
becomes a key driver of engagement.
or a specific piece of content resonates in ways you never imagined. It's about really understanding what makes your audience tick.
I'm getting it. So we've covered what site behavior does, the heat maps, replays, feedback. But why choose this over, say, good old Google Analytics?
The million-dollar question. The answer, honestly, it's going to be different for everyone.
Of course.
But if we're talking what makes site behavior unique, it's that focus on making data digestible.
Especially if you're not a data scientist.
Right. Bridging the gap between raw numbers and the people behind the clicks.
Okay, I like that.
Think of Google Analytics as a powerful microscope.
Okay.
Incredibly precise, but you need that specialized knowledge to make sense of it all.
Whereas site behavior is more like
A magnifying glass.
easier to use.
Exactly. Site behavior is all about clarity and ease of use. A great tool for entrepreneurs, small business owners, anyone really who wants to understand their website visitors. They've removed the barriers so you can focus on using those insights.
And sometimes even the most tech-savvy among us just want things to be straightforward.
Absolutely. And site behavior delivers on that.
This has been super insightful, but we'd be remiss if we didn't address the cost. Is it worth it for everyone? When does it make sense to stick with what you have? We'll unpack all of that right after this. All right, listeners, we're back. Time to wrap up our deep dive into the world of site behavior. We've seen what it can do, but the big question is, does it live up to the hype?
That's what we're here to find out, right? No tool is perfect, and one thing that stood out from your research was the debate around site behavior's pricing.
Yeah, pricing is always a factor.
Especially for smaller businesses or anyone on a tight budget. The entry-level tier seems pretty reasonable, but those higher tiers, with their visitor limits, some people felt those were a bit steep.
It's always a balancing act, isn't it? Finding that sweet spot between features and affordability.
Exactly, and that's where it's crucial to really assess your needs. Do you really need all the bells and whistles right away?
Right. Don't overspend for features you're not ready to use.
So before we close the book on site behavior, what are the key takeaways our listeners should keep in mind?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that site behavior really shines when it comes to clarity. If you're someone who appreciates a visual approach to data, this could be a game changer.
No more drowning in spreadsheets, right?
Exactly. They've done a great job making those insights accessible. And of course, don't overlook those unique features, the heat maps, the session replays. Seeing how people actually interact with your website is incredibly valuable.
It's like you've been trying to solve a mystery in the dark, and suddenly someone turns on the lights. That's a great way to put it. And let's not forget the power of that direct user feedback. It's one thing to guess what people are thinking, but it's another thing entirely to hear it straight from them.
No more assumptions.
Right. So, to sum it all up, consider your needs, your budget, do your research, and see if site behavior is the right fit for you.
Great advice. And listeners, as you explore the world of website analytics, remember to keep asking questions. What mysteries are you most eager to solve about your website visitors? The answers might surprise you. That's all the time we have for today's deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring and keep those questions coming.